Hello, everyone. So today I'm doing something a little bit different. I am coming in a little bit earlier, also because the last couple of days have been a holiday. I think most are observing it here in the US. But today I really wanted to talk about helping our youth find their path and ensuring that they're in alignment with what their visions are for themselves so that they can have some level of ease on their journey to living their fullest potential. And so, one of the things that I wanted to talk about with regards to um, finding their path as a parent, do you really know how to help your child find their path? Do you make the assumption that because they like a thing or have liked a thing since they were young, that that's their path? Um, how many opportunities have they been provided with a diversity of topics and ideas that will help them better gauge where their passions and their internal gifts lie? And I'll give you an example. If you have a child that you rarely give, let's say, paint and supplies to paint, even if that child loves, would have that affinity for being that type of an artist, how do they hone those skills if they don't have exposure to it? I mean, obviously in school, there is an opportunity to play with paint or whatever. And this is 100%, like I said, an example, for example. But in school, everything is very much directed. It's kind of like you can do your version of what we say you're working on, as opposed to freeform. I'm inspired by this thing, and I want to develop my visions of this thing and be able to share it with the world because this is what I love. For example, another example: if you have a child who has never played an instrument before, how do they know whether or not they can be the next Beethoven, or I don't know, Jimi Hendrix on the guitar, if you've never had the opportunity to explore that? And this goes for anything. How do we know whether or not your child would be an amazing coder if they're not really exposed to coding, or even if they're not exposed to the language within coding that connects deeply with them, because there are many languages in coding, and each have the area that they work best in, so to speak. And so I asked the question because it's something that puzzled me. I know for homeschoolers, I know that because the education is kind of in our hands, there's a lot more flexibility that's had. But obviously, this message is for everyone. It's not just for homeschoolers. How, as a parent, when you send your children to school, are you able to help them hone a skill that they are really, really connected to? And do you even have the time to do so? Have you even thought of it? That question's obviously for everybody. And what are the type of questions that you ask of your children to find those things out? And normally it's about, I talk about immersion all the time, about exploring things, being able to experience things. Like for me, I love nature. But if it means that I've got to interact with bugs, there's probably going to be a little bit of a problem. Even though I love nature and I love to garden, but when the worms come, I get squirmish. And so, do you think I'm going to spend all of my time in like the garden, even though I love beautiful flowers and I love nature, that's going to be my life if I have to spend time with the earth in that way? Probably not. Right? Because I would have to get over some level of my fears and limiting beliefs around that in order to flourish. And maybe I could if I spent more time, or if it were that important to me to do so. And so that's what I'm talking about with regards to our kiddos. Are we giving them enough room to explore so that they can find their authentic selves? Are we giving them the opportunity to spend time in something long enough that they can make determinations as to whether or not this is something that connects with them, so that they're living a life filled with purpose, where they can build esteem in their authentic skin. And so I just wanted to like open that dialogue today, with regards to our children. And if we're allowing them to lead, how do we do our best job at serving them at our highest capacity so that we're helping them live their lives in a way that's impactful and meaningful, purposeful, and filled with their drive, their initiative. And so I just really, really wanted to share that today. I do have two. I was supposed to do two yesterday, but I'm going to do two today. But I wanted to come in and open that dialogue and have you just have you spend time thinking through that. And maybe we'll come back to it again in a week or so. How are you setting the stage for your children to be able to be on the pathway to reaching their fullest potential? And with that being said, I'm going to tune out now, and I'm tremendously grateful for you guys showing up, listening in, and providing your comments. And also just want to remind you to go to the boundlesskiddosummit.com. I think it's there, yes. And be sure to sign up. There's a lot of opportunity for your children to grow and learn and really connect with themselves and really just have an amazing time this summer doing some really cool things. So go ahead and sign up for the Boundless Kiddo Summit, and also take into consideration, how are you affording your young people the opportunity to really show up as themselves. And I am gone. If you didn't already hear my kiddo in the background, he wasn't prepared for this one. He's normally asleep when I do my broadcasts. Alrighty, I will be back with you again shortly and again tomorrow. Bye-bye now.